Hey folks, I just wanted to record a quick instructional video to kind of give you an idea of how to complete one of the assignments in one of our modules this semester. Specifically, it's in the drug analysis module, and the assignment is titled Drug Categories and Schedules Assignment. If you look at the learning objectives in the drug analysis module, you'll see that at the completion of this module, students will be able to list the schedules of the Controlled Substances Act, describe the laboratory tests normally used to perform a routine drug identification analysis. Skipping one, we see next, name and classify the commonly abused drugs and identify characteristics of stimulants, narcotics, hallucinogens, and depressants. This assignment, again titled Drug Categories and Schedules Assignment, is meant to complete some of these learning objectives. And again, you'll find this assignment in our course. If you click in modules, you'll see that there's an assignment titled Drug Categories and Schedules Assignment. I'll actually go ahead and click on it. You're going to be able to see instructions for the assignment, and actually you're going to be able to see this video within the instructions. It tells you you're supposed to complete a worksheet, and the worksheet is a Google worksheet. If you click on the link here within the assignment instructions, a Google worksheet looking like this is going to actually show up. So you need to fill out this worksheet in order to complete the assignment. So how do you do that? I'm actually going to fill out a portion of the worksheet in this video to kind of help you see what's supposed to go in the worksheet. You can see for the particular worksheet, you're going to be looking at drugs that are classified as stimulants, drugs classified as hallucinogens, drugs classified as depressants, and drugs classified as narcotics or opioids. To complete the worksheet, you need to identify 4 stimulant drugs, 4 hallucinogenic drugs or hallucinogens, 4 depressants, and 4 narcotic or opioid drugs. And then once you list the drug, you're supposed to give its name, its form, its method of introduction, the test or method used to identify the drug, a slang term for the drug, and then specifically which federal drug schedule it falls into. So let's do one together. So let's do a hallucinogen, for example. You need to come up with 4 hallucinogens. Probably the most common hallucinogen is marijuana, so that could be one that we could put on our list here. And you're welcome to actually include it in your own worksheet if you want. So what we do is in the cell where it says name, I would type in marijuana. Now, where it says form, form means if you were looking at the drug, what would it actually look like? If you had a bag that contained the drug, what would the drug actually look like? For example, if it was cocaine, it would be a white powder. So what would marijuana look like? Well, marijuana is going to be a leafy plant material. So you could just type in a leafy plant material. If it was cocaine, for example, you would write white crystalline or white powdery substance. Methamphetamine might be a crystalline substance. In the column that says method of introduction means how would a person, if they were consuming the drug, how would they get it in their body? There's a lot of ways a person could do this. They could smoke it, for example. They could snort it. They could inject it. They could eat it or drink it. With marijuana, the method for introduction typically is it would be smoked. So you could put smoked. Or some people actually will eat marijuana. They might make a marijuana brownie, for example. So you could put smoked or eaten there. You really only need to list one, typically the most common. So for example, cocaine would be snorted, so you could put snorted. All right, where it says test or method for identification, this is going to be what sort of test do we use in the crime lab to identify the drug? There's 2 different types of tests we do. One is what's called a presumptive color test, which is we add colors, or we add chemicals rather to the drug to see if we see a particular color change. That's a presumptive test that tells us it's probably this drug. Or other methods for identification would be to do instrumental analysis like GC mass spec or IR, and you'll read about those in the chapter. What I'm really looking for primarily in this column would be any chemical color test that we'd use to identify the drug. In particular, the chemical color test, you'll read about this in the reading, that's used to identify marijuana is called the Duquesnoy-Levine test. So we would type in Duquesnoy-Levine. All right, slang. What does it mean by slang? What we mean by that is on the street, if a person were selling you the drug, what might they refer to it as? For example, marijuana has a lot of slang terms. The most common ones would be things like weed or pot or grass. So type in one or 2 slang terms for the particular drug. And then the last column is schedule. When I say schedule, what I mean is the federal government has classified drugs into schedules. These schedules are found in the Controlled Substances Act of 1970. There are Schedules 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3, Schedule 4, and Schedule 5. The worst drugs are classified as Schedule 1 drugs. The least harmful are the ones that are classified as Schedule 5. Schedule 1 drugs are considered truly illegal, meaning that you cannot have a prescription for it, you can't use it, sell it, consume it in any way, shape, or form. And it happens to be that marijuana is a Schedule 1 drug. Another drug that's a Schedule 1 drug, which seems to make sense, is heroin, for example. But you might be surprised to find out that actually methamphetamine is a Schedule 2 drug because it actually has an accepted medical use. So anyway, we can see that we filled out at least one of the lines of our worksheet here. We also want to fill out the other lines. For example, we need to come up with 4 stimulants. Now keep in mind, you don't necessarily have to put illegal drugs on here. If you think of stimulants, an example of a stimulant drug that's not actually illegal would be caffeine. So caffeine is a stimulant drug. We could put that in there. Caffeine, well, what form does caffeine usually come in? Well, typically it comes in a powder or it's dissolved in a beverage. So you could put, beverage, or you could put, or a white powder. Method of introduction, well, caffeine's typically consumed. So we can say consumed orally. So we could say we eat it or we drink it. Do we have a test or method for identification for caffeine? Well, not in the crime lab. So in that situation, you just put NA, meaning not applicable, meaning we don't really have a test for it. Is there a slang term for caffeine? Not really. And then obviously caffeine is not controlled by the federal government, so it doesn't have a schedule, so we just put NA for under schedule and under slang. So just be aware that you can actually list drugs that are not illegal. Another example of this under stimulant would be nicotine. Nicotine is also a stimulant drug, but again is not scheduled, and we don't have a test or method for identification. So you can see that to complete this assignment, you need to list 4 stimulant drugs, 4 hallucinogenic drugs or hallucinogens, 4 depressants, and then 4 narcotics or opioid drugs, along with the accompanying information. If you have any questions or problems, you can always contact me by email, through Canvas message, or on my office phone. So good luck. I hope you guys enjoy this assignment.